Okay, this is our part 2 on how do we handle quadratic word problem for a real life situation question. So, if you have watched my part 1, I've mentioned we have to link back to what we have learned. So, what happened that over here, this question, diagram is not given, so it'll be slightly more challenging, but not to worry. Every question there'll be some guiding questions to help us. That's why you can see in this question there's a guiding one, which is what? The first part. Okay, let's take a look what does this question ask. They say a soccer ball is kicked from the ground. The height m-meter of the ball above the ground. So keyword above the ground, okay, is given at at time t second is given by this. So this is the function of the movement of the ball, which from one glance we can see over here, because the coefficient of the t square is -4, which means this is a maximum curve. So this is something that we need to be sensitive with. Okay, so first part is the guiding one, which is express the function in the form of this. Over here we have to be very and extra careful. Why? Because you can see these two in the bracket is t and it's positive t. So which means, okay, because these two terms, if I multiply them together, they will give us our t square. But over here in the question, the t square coefficient is negative, which means our a should be negative. So we have to be very careful and observant. So which means for my part 1, okay, we have h equals to 8t minus 4t square. So in order to create a positive t square, I have to factorize out -4. So -4, I'll have t square minus 2t. Then from here, I'll factorize further, which is -4t, then t minus 2. There you can see this t will be t minus 0, which is similar to this. And the t minus 2 will be t minus q. Okay, these are our 1 mark questions. Then my part 2, it says a few things, which is they say the intercept, which a lot of the student or a lot of you forget about this intercept, which means the x and y axis intercept. And based on my part 1, I've explained to y'all is that, okay, if after we know the shape of the curve of the what the question is using, we try our very best to sketch it. So how I sketch it will be like that. Here is t, here is h. So you can see from here, when I sub t equals to 0, which is finding the y-intercept, I get 0, which means that the curve will look like this. Okay, so we are asked to find the horizontal axis, which is these 2 points shown here. Okay, so these 2 points is actually the x-intercept. So how do we find the x-intercept? So recap, x-intercept, find x-intercept, okay, or for this case t-intercept, my bad, because there's no x. To find t-intercept, which is the place where it intercept or cut the horizontal axis, my h has to be 0. Why? Because there's no h. Well, h basically is 0. So for here, it's actually solving 0 equals to 8t minus 4t squared. Take note, this question, please do not use your quadratic formula. Quadratic formula is a set 3 method. So what happened? We can use our normal set 2 method, which is factorizing out the common factor and solve, which actually is making use of our part 1 steps. -4t bracket t minus 2, which this portion. So each bracket equals 0. So negative 4t equals to 0, or t minus 2 equals to 0. So t equals to 0, t equals to 2. So the two intercept is t equals to 0 and t equals to 2 lah. Then the next part, we are asked to find the coordinate of the turning point. There's two choices. Either students straight away find using the factorization method, okay, or you can complete the square. So I let you all decide. So for me personally, I chose the complete the square method. Maybe I use the factorization method first. Since we know that here is 0, here is 2, so find x coordinate of turning point. So with this, x will be equals to half 0 plus 2 equals to 1. Then find y coordinate of turning point. So here is 1. We want to find this value. Okay, so find y coordinate of turning point. So with this, okay, it will be y equals to 8, submit the 1 into the curve function. So I have 8 minus 4 lah. So 4 lah. So turning point equals to 1 comma 4 lah. Okay. So that's for part 2. Part 3, we are asked to find the maximum height. So maximum height, we will have to use the completing the square, because completing the square is the only way to find the maximum or minimum height. So for this, my part 3, I'll have I'll have h equals to 8t minus 4t square. So in order to complete the square, coefficient of the t square must be positive 1. So I factorize out negative 4. So I have t square minus 2t. Then from here, I continue to factorize. Take note till now, there are some of you still, when you complete the square, you still treat this like a normal Emaths completing the square. They are different. Emaths don't need to factorize out this part, because for Emaths, the completing the square question, the coefficient of x squared is always a positive 1. Amaths is everything except positive 1. So from here, I'll do my completing the square. I put a square bracket because inside the completing the square is very complicated. T minus 1 square minus 1 square again. Okay, and with this, negative 4 bracket t minus 1 square. Take note, here is negative 1 square times negative 4. So this will be negative 4 bracket t minus 1 square plus 4. So maximum height, max height equals to 4 meter, which is this value here. Okay. Then my part 4, they say find the time it takes for the ball to return to ground. So what I say, my return to ground means the h value is 0. Okay, so h equals 0, so my part 4, 0 equals to 8t minus 4t square. So with this, we are just solving this again, whereby we already did that in our part 2, I suppose. So we can don't solve and straight away say t equals to 0 or t equals to 2. But they say find the time it takes for the ball to reach the ground, to return to ground again. So if you return back to the diagram, the ball is at the ground at 2 points, t equals 0, and you go up, then at t equals to 2, you go back to the ground again. So here, our part 4, the answer is just t equals to 2. This one is t equals 0 is not accepted. Then part 5, which is the one that student is a bit confused. They say a player whose height is 1.8 meter wish to hit the ball as he is falling. They will say here falling, not rising. So if the ball is rising, cannot hit. So they say find the earliest time that he can do so. So when with his feet on the ground, which means that the person is not allowed to jump, okay, with his feet on the ground. So which means that, okay, my part 5 over here, which means that if I draw bigger, the person height is 1.8 meters. So we try here 1.8. A person is at here, the height. Okay, he want to hit the ball when the ball is falling. This is the falling motion. Okay, it is not here. It is not here. This is rising. The ball is going up. So over here, the height is 1.8. So which means that I can say the formula is 1.8 equals to 8t minus 4t squared. So with this, we can apply quadratic formula. So I'll make this equation equal 0. So I'll have 4t squared minus 8t plus 1.8 equals to 0. So from here, you can happily apply your quadratic formula, okay, if you want to. So here, nothing special, just that my t, take note, whenever we want to use quadratic formula, we must make sure we have an equation equals 0. You can't be just using quadratic formula and expect the marker to know that that quadratic formula is from which quadratic equation. Cannot. So minus b plus minus square root b square minus 4ac over 2a. Then with this, you can punch in calculator. So we have 2 times 1.74 second 3SF or 0.258. This is rejected. Why? Because if we go back to the diagram, our ball is at 1.8 meter twice. One is when it is rising, which is here, and the other part is at when it is falling. But the question already stated the player is going to hit the ball when it is falling, which is stated here, falling over here. So that's why 0.258 is being rejected. Answer is 1.74. So this is question whereby after we solve, we need to go back to the context of the question to see whether is it accepted or not. Okay, and not just get answer then tikam and get the answer that we need. So do take note. Okay, watch this video again if you still don't understand. Thank you.